All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 82 of STA Open Call. STA Open Call is brought to you by the STA Foundation, a 501c3 corporation that serves as STA's educational arm. Just one disclaimer that we always read out here. Nothing on today's call should be considered legal or investment advice. Our only objective here is to just educate listeners on this. So listen, last week, STA Chicago kicked off the 2026 calendar for conferences. It was a successful event at the 100th annual midwinter meeting. And the attendance was very strong, and we got positive feedback from the attendees. And I think particularly because the program stood out, particularly for its timely and engaging panel topics, which included off-exchange liquidity, challenges in the ETF industry, extended hours trading, prediction markets, tokenized assets, and other panels as well. Now, while the panel topics were diverse in the subject matter, they collectively underscored a very clear reality that we're all facing here, and that's our capital markets today are more globalized, more interconnected, more fast-paced than ever before, and the trading strategies that are being deployed are now spanning across multiple asset classes and regions. And connecting these different markets for the entire trade life cycle requires, a ready-made ecosystem of market participants that obviously trading firms and other firms can kind of tap into here. So here with us today is Vimal Vel, who's the Chief Product Officer of IPC, a position that he assumed in mid-2025. He has over 28 years of experience in the fintech data and enterprise software space. He previously served as the Chief Product Officer at both TREP, which is a real estate company, Morningstar, which I'm sure people are familiar with, and he has more than a decade of experience at Dun & Bradstreet, where he was the global head of master data solutions. For those of you maybe who are not familiar with IPC, it's a fintech provider of secure, compliant communications and multi-cloud connectivity solutions for the global financial markets, specializing in trading environments since its founding in 1973. All right, Vimal, I want to welcome you to STA Open Call, and thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Pleasure to be here, Jim. Thanks for having me over.
Great. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, you've had this role of Chief Product Officer, not just at IPC, but obviously at other firms as well. You've led global product development teams at firms like Morningstar, like I mentioned, and Dun & Bradstreet. But those three companies obviously have different business models and they have different types of clients. And I think the first part I wanted to just kind of bring to the attention of the viewers and listeners here is that those experiences that you've had in the past, what unique perspectives and skills are you bringing from that marketplace into the marketplace that our members mostly deal in, which obviously is the broader trading community?
Yeah, so my background is leading product organizations delivering SaaS workflow software, enterprise software solutions in the data and analytics space, as well as the fintech space. So I've done this at multi-billion-dollar companies like Morningstar, Dun & Bradstreet, as well as more specialized companies like TREP. And part of the patterns you notice is a value proposition of bringing SaaS workflow solutions into a new industry, into a new market segment, and solving for the needs of the personas, the users in that market, there's a consistency in how you solve those problems. So part of what I bring into IPC, two components. First is taking all components of our value proposition, from the desktop software, the physical turret on the trader's desk, our highly performant and highly scalable and resilient communication platform, and bring them together as part of a more unified experience for the traders is step one. A lot of these are fairly common and have been well established in the world of enterprise software. So bringing that concept of a unified platform experience, delivering an end-to-end workflow for that persona, in this case, our traders, is the first thing that I'm focused on. Second is there are some best practices on how SaaS solutions are delivered as well as commercialized. So a good example of this is combining the continuous innovation of a SaaS cloud delivery model with a subscription solution offering that you offer clients. That's something that we're rolling out at IPC. And an interesting thing, we've got 100,000 traders on our platform. 30% of them, as of today, are on our subscription or cloud offerings. This is a significant change from the past when almost all of our solutions were on-premise and separate or discretely delivered capabilities. So a lot of interesting changes underway at IPC. Some of the lessons, best practices that come from the world of enterprise software, fintech, and some of my experience in prior roles is important to what we're doing here at IPC. Just in terms of clients and where we play in the context of the larger market. At Morningstar, our focus was on asset managers, wealth managers, financial advisors, right? So the business that I was in was focused on delivering workflow solutions, workflow software solutions to those kids. The changes portfolio managers, asset managers are focused on, they tend to drive trading activity on the desk. So a lot of the clients that I'm used to working with are the same clients I had when I was at Morningstar, as well as at Dun & Bradstreet. So just as an example, what the larger point I'd like to make is the patterns of innovation when it comes to SaaS workflow software are consistent across industries. The value you can deliver by providing a more unified, cohesive experience to a user is very consistent across industries. And that's what I'm excited about bringing in to IPC as part of my role.
So why don't we just if you can, just go a little bit deeper from like your product leadership experience, like what are some of the, innovation patterns from areas like enterprise SaaS and data analytics that you see as critical, for the future of integrated trading technology?
So the most important thing is focusing on the workflow needs of the personas we serve. So in this case, that is our traders, right? Is understanding the needs of the trader, understanding the workflow patterns that they operate in, and then innovating and delivering solutions to meet those needs. So a couple of interesting challenges today is the industry has fragmented solutions. So point solutions that serve specific needs very well, but fall short when you try to bring an end-to-end workflow for the trader, right? And what happens is because of that, you have friction in the workflow. You have information silos between your chat systems, your communication systems, your CRM system, your OMS system. These are all different examples of workflow applications as well as enterprise applications that the trader touches. So step one would be bringing cohesiveness to the workflow across those workflow applications and enterprise applications as part of the trader's experience. That is integration and interoperability. So that's component one. Second is when you do as part of doing that, it's important to focus on the value that you're creating in terms of efficiency and effectiveness to the trading workflow, right? So when you have friction in the workflow, that creates a challenge for the trader. And when you eliminate that friction, you're improving the efficiency of that trader's workflow.
So, I mean, really, it's about like, am I going to oversimplify this by saying connecting front office functions to middle office to back office? Is that an oversimplification of kind of what you're describing here, or?
It is an accurate representation. So actually, let me walk you through that example, right? This is when you think of so in you're focusing on step one, which is you're still in a set of message groups assessing interest as part of you're on Bloomberg, you're on ICE, you're on your chat groups, and once you've found a potential counterparty to work with, a lot of times, depending on the complexity of the trade, the asset class, or the speed with which you need to move, you need to switch to a modality of voice. So that's when traders pick up the phone and have a conversation and agree on the terms of the trade. Once you're done with that, then you have to go into your trade execution workflows. These can happen on disconnected, disparate platforms, right? So chat is one modality. It's a workflow application that is often disconnected from voice. If you provide integration capabilities between when you're on chat to easily elevate with a click of a button into voice, now you've eliminated that friction of going back and forth, right? So this is, I think we see this as the swivel chair problem on the trading desk, or the toggle tax, toggling between applications. Similarly, bringing in information from a CRM and OMS system and making that experience as part of that call you're having with the counterparty a more complete experience, which is I have information about my counterparty. It comes from the CRM, their portfolio holdings, the prior calls I had with them. If I can bring them together and present that as part of an uh, easily understandable solution capability that the trader can engage with as part of the call with their counterparty. Now, if you think about it, you are bringing information from pre-trade steps and post-trade steps and making that conversation with the counterparty so much easier.
Obviously, I think the challenge that so many, vendors, or not even vendors, client service providers have, is just getting like a desktop, getting space on their client's desktop. And IPC obviously has a 50-year legacy, as a, connectivity provider. From a product leadership standpoint, I mean, how does the deep history of IPC like inform the roadmap for like next generation platforms and serving the trading community?
So you mentioned this. We have a history of 50 years serving the needs of traders on trading desks, right? So we serve 100,000 traders worldwide as part of our solution capabilities. We have over 30 offices worldwide, and the top 100 or so banks, almost all of their trading desks use our capabilities. So, and as far as offices, just the place I'm sitting in, I mean, we have our flagship offices in New York, in London. We've just opened up new offices in both those locations. And part of what we're starting to do is engage our clients on an ongoing basis to get their feedback and use that to inform the future direction of our product. So because of our history of being on the trading desk for over 50 years, we have the install base, we have permission to innovate on our install base of solutions on the trading desk. I think we started off as the tradition, we've always been known as the TART company. But over the past few years, what we've started doing is delivering innovation in terms of the workflow software capabilities we provide on the desktop. So in addition to the physical device, there are a set of software capabilities as well. Even the device is evolving into a more digital interactive. It used to be the old button board, right? To just have a few buttons that you can push to connect to your counterparties. What's happening now is it's digital, it's interactive, high fidelity audio. It allows the trader to engage audio and tactile on the device and maintain visual engagement with the desktop, because our solution has evolved into touching both parts of that workflow. So two things. One is because of our install base, we have permission to innovate. Our clients embrace that innovation. We see that in the adoption and utilization of our new products. But the second part is the capabilities we deliver. They solve very specific problems on the trading desk. One is around that end-to-end interoperability, and second one is by delivering AI and innovation, we're eliminating friction, as a result, bringing in efficiency and effectiveness to the trading workflow.
Mhm. So I think you may have answered this question already, but I just want to make sure that that there's as much detail in this question as possible. So I mean, obviously, like you talked about, there are many providers that offer pieces in the trade life cycle. But yeah, what are the key critical gaps in the market that you hear from your clients most often? Like, what's the problem? What's the gap in the trader's workflow that you're hearing from, IPC clients that the industry and yourselves are both looking to fill here?
So one of the things we've started doing is bringing our clients into our innovation process. So the room I'm sitting in is actually our client engagement and innovation center in our New York office. And what we've done is starting to identify those gaps and building out our solution capabilities to address those specific gaps. So I'm going to use three examples of products or solutions we built to address gaps or friction points in the trader's workflow. The first one is our call notification experience, right? So when you have an inbound call or you're making a call, today, traders have limited information about the counterparty they're engaging with. What we've done is we've integrated information from your CRM, which gives you information about the portfolio holdings of the counterparty, detailed information about the person, as well as integrated to market data sources, your morning call transcripts, and all your prior calls you've had with this counterparty. When you bring all that information together and you present it as part of a call notification dashboard, whether you're making the call or receiving the call, you have a much richer understanding of all the information you need about that counterparty to have a much more productive discussion, right? So, and you can see in that one step is that the challenges I highlighted earlier in the conversation of integration and interoperability, using APIs to connect to your enterprise systems like CRMs and OMS, as well as your workflow applications like chat, that comes together as part of this integrated call notification dashboard. Second is when you need to make a set of calls. So we've created this application called the Call List app. It is an AI-assisted application that helps you prioritize which of your counterparties you need to call first. Right? And that happens by bringing together information from morning call transcripts, all portfolio holdings of the counterparties that you generally work with. So as an example, if there was negative sentiment associated with one equity that was addressed as part of morning call, when you walk back to your desk, knowing who has exposure and what potential conversations you might need to anticipate, that drives how you prioritize, right? So what we've done is we built this in a modular and flexible manner because some clients might want to expose this call prioritization app to just morning call transcripts. Others might want it to have access to 3 or 4 media sources, so you're monitoring news events. Others might want to add market data information into the mix. Our AI platform brings those pieces together and provides a prioritized call list for you. What's interesting is in addition to that, it also provides a what should you say capability, right? Now, it's not like traders need help in deciding what to say to their counterparty, right? But when you summarize all this information using 3 simple bullets that pop up as part of your call experience, now you're much better positioned to have that conversation with that counterparty. It eliminates friction. It allows you to move faster, right? So those are all examples of challenges or gaps that we're solving for in that second example. Third one is if you're a head trader, part of what you're looking for is observability of what's happening on the trading desk. And oftentimes, understanding if there is misalignment between activities on the trading desk and either market sentiment or strategy that has been defined for the trading that day, right? So just understanding misalignment between market sentiment and trading desk activity as an example, that's something that a head trader would want to observe. Today, the way that problem is solved is almost always after the fact. What we provide is a way to, in real time, monitor all trading desk activity, detect patterns, surface up misalignment, providing information to the head trader so they can take action when they see that misalignment. Again, all of these are capabilities that assist a workflow of a trader or head trader. We don't replace any workflow step for them. Right? So you asked the question, what kind of gaps? These are the problems our product advisory council, our client advisory boards have highlighted for us as specific pain points. And these are the solutions we've rolled out in response to that. Right? So when you combine this with our end-to-end, highly performant, highly compliant platform, as well as our best-in-class turret device on the desktop, the digital interactive device, and the software workflow experience on the desktop, it makes for a very compelling, cohesive, right? The cohesion comes from connectivity and integration to those other platforms and capabilities, right? So those are three examples of how we're solving gaps today for the traders workflows. Does that answer the question?
That answers the question for me. I mean, and it is amazing because I mean, obviously, as you know, former trader, like speed to me is always, you know, how quickly can I get to the point of liquidity to access it or to put, how quickly can I get the order filled, making sure it's getting filled properly, access and liquidity. But to your point though, the speed game here, I want to call it a game, but the speed component here is just when in a conversation with the client, how quickly can I get smart with the client when they're coming in, and how quickly can I make an informed decision on who to call first. So that's a different type of speed than I think most people maybe who are listening to this call realize or appreciate that how quickly can you get smart when the client calls you, and how quickly can you get smart as far as who to call. And I think that was very informative. So listen, I know I talked about the Chicago conference, and I was surprised the only topic that did not get covered was AI, and you did bring it up, and so I want to follow up with AI. It's obviously moving as a broad trend to it's really kind of moving from a trend to like obviously concrete product features that we're seeing in the marketplace. And I mean, broadly speaking, kind of how do you see firms integrating AI, and obviously I know you kind of talked a little bit about it, how you're doing it at IPC, but how are you envisioning and integrating AI-driven capabilities into your product suite to solve like specific client problems in communication, compliance, and trading? I know you kind of touched on how you're using it on that 1, 2, 3 step process, but are there other areas where it's being used as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Our platform is an AI-enabled, AI-assisted platform. So you start seeing it as a capability across both the workflows and the solution capabilities that the traders experience, as well as a simple information assistant, right? So how you use the product, how you experience the product. A lot of times, questions, the way you interact with the product, those become AI-assisted capabilities. But core to this, let me just take a step back, is I mentioned we serve 100,000 traders worldwide on our platform. Traditionally, we've never enabled them to know, understand, or interact with each other as a community. So a recent capability we've rolled out, right, is IPC One Call, Community and Directory, which is providing a directory capability and for this community to allow them to discover, engage, and communicate with each other in an easy manner, right? So the speed with which you can find a counterparty becomes so much easier when you have the community organized a certain way. Now, the reason I mentioned that is when you have that scale of participation, the type of AI capabilities you can offer become very different, right? Is finding a counterparty can now become AI enabled or AI assisted based on historical trading patterns of certain groups in certain asset classes. So finding access to a counterparty, connecting with them, engaging with them, being able to communicate with them, that becomes so much easier when you have an AI assistance capability, right? So that speaks to the scale. The second one is when you bring in interoperability with workflow adjacent capabilities. So we have a partnership with ICE that specializes in the commodities market, right? Mm-hmm. So you've got chat happening on ICE chat, and they've got voice happening on IPC. Bringing transcriptions from chat and voice together, creating that data asset that is traditionally, it's a compliance asset, but increasingly all of our clients are starting to use that asset as the foundation for their AI strategy. So what we've done, the core part of our AI strategy is this concept of modular interoperability. If the client wants to use our data assets, our software, and their AI platform, which is almost for 100% of our tier one clients, that's the model they want to use. They want to use their AI platform. They want to use it with our data assets, our analytics, and our software capabilities. We have a way to make that happen. For smaller clients who don't have their own AI strategy, they would like to consume an end-to-end AI integrated software workflow capability from us. We're able to offer that as well. The core to all of this is the participation rate we have in this ecosystem. So our community is 100,000 strong. We have the top 100 banks running significant portions of their trading workflows on our platform. And that creates a little bit of a network effect when you want to deliver a solution that uses both the community model as well as the connectivity model for our capabilities. And the community is expanding. So you mentioned front office and middle office is one of the things we've realized is we've got a compliant platform for the front office trading desk. Right. And a lot of times in the trade workflow, you're bringing in legal, you're bringing in an analyst, you're bringing in a compliance person. And today, traders have to switch to a different platform to have that conversation. It might be a PBX floor, it might be Teams, it might be another smaller platform. What we've done, we've rolled out a new capability called One Connect, which serves middle office, back office personas as part of an integrated experience to our platform. And the keywords there is integrated experience because it's not as valuable to the traders if they have to switch platforms to talk to their back office, right? Or those two counterparties, the two back office counterparties on a trade, communicate with each other on a disconnected platform, right? So the benefits we brought to market in the front office for the trading desk, we are now extending into middle and back office workflow, right? This is called One Connect. The power of this, all of this revolves around the concept of an integrated community, right? Is because having disconnected users with point solutions doesn't solve the pain points for the ecosystem today.
I mean, also, I think the compliance, the compliance point that you raised there is obviously very important, right? I mean, whenever firms are facing, reviews or audits from the regulators, piecemealing, reports with timestamps can be, just can be burdensome, inefficient. If you can kind of have it all together, probably makes it much easier to review and makes the regulator feel more confident that you are, surveilling conversations properly. So I'm glad to hear you talked about the compliance component of this as well. So, so we have like time for one more question here. So what I would like to just kind of get your insights or opinions on, like, if we fast forward a few years, like what does success look like for a trader's workflow,
Yeah.
and like describe, like, some tangible impacts you're aiming to have on traders' work and how global markets connect.
So it's a great question. I think the concept of frictionless interoperability with AI-enabled efficiency and effectiveness would be very powerful for a trading desk. And it sounds like simple words. Like when we say frictionless interoperability, that requires several different point solutions to come together and be interoperable in real time. Right? So that would be the ideal state number one. Second one is AI assisted, AI enabled effectiveness, which is the AI analytics capability should be able to bring together information from multiple sources in and out of your workflow and serve as an assistant to help you move faster and be more effective and efficient. And this is all of the building blocks for that to happen are there. I think our IPC1 platform is built around that promise, is to bring together that interoperability as well as AI-assisted workflow efficiency capabilities. But it needs to happen at an industry level. It needs to happen across the trading desk. And all of those solutions need to operate with those same principles. So we're able to get there in the next 3 to 5 years. I'm actually very, very excited about what the traders' day looks like, because all those problems we discussed about swivel chair, information silos, friction in the workflow, trying to reconcile several things after the fact, all of those things should, in an ideal world, go away. And the trader focuses on the core aspect of their workflow step, which is, can you and I as counterparties find agreement on a trade?
Well, Vimal, this is very helpful. I mean, it's very helpful. I mean, I think that I just want to repeat kind of something what I said in the middle of the call here. Like I didn't speed in our marketplace when you talk to most of our members and you use the word speed, they're talking about quotes, trades, accessing liquidity. Like I mentioned, I never really viewed this as like speed of information at the point of contact that you're having with clients on this, and getting you as smart as possible, as quickly as possible on something. So yes, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your perspective. I want to wish you the best of luck at IPC, and look forward to hearing more from you down the road. So thank you.
Thank you, Jim. It's my pleasure being here. And thanks for having me